A teen home alone in the basement when two home intruders break in.
Oh my God, I couldn't imagine being home alone at that age and having somebody come in my house.
I'm Victor Williams, and I'll have that horrifying account coming right up.
The damage is substantial and ever increasing. In Lexington, homes are threatened, roads are threatened. Tonight, what can people do?
Couple flakes possible tomorrow, but all eyes are on the weekend. Our biggest snow of winter is on the way.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
We begin with a young woman forced to hide in the basement when two men break into her downriver home.
Tonight, she's been talking with our Victor Williams on how she managed to go unnoticed, giving her time to call 911. Victor.
Well, tonight, this teen is shaken up. She tells me that she never wants to stay at home alone again. But thankfully, she was in the basement when she heard the sounds of two home intruders making their way inside.
It was like a panic. I didn't know what to do.
A pair of thieves forced their way into a Woodhaven home around 7 in the morning, and it's a day that one 19-year-old says she'll never forget. For her safety, we're not showing her face.
I woke up this morning to footsteps thinking it was my family.
Instinctively, she picked up the phone to call her parents, hearing the commotion of all of her family's belongings being thrown around the house.
So I called my mom and she was like, we're not home, no one's supposed to be there. So then I started freaking out and I called 911, and that's when I told them someone's in my house.
And in just a matter of minutes, officers from nearly every agency nearby were en route. This footage is from a neighbor's Ring camera showing officers all over Reek Road.
They made me stay on the phone with them the entire time.
Eventually, police caught both suspects less than a block away from the home they just tried to break into. Their ages, only 21 and 23.
I'm glad both of them were caught, and hopefully they get what they deserve. Time behind bars, not put on probation or something.
The teen's father obviously relieved with the outcome. He knows the situation
could have been a lot worse. Her calling her mom instead of coming upstairs to see if she was home was what I think saved this from being a lot worse.
Now neighbors like Gail Robinson are on their toes, never imagining they'd have to deal with such a problem in the quiet suburb of Woodhaven.
Oh my God, I couldn't imagine being home alone at that age and having somebody come in my house. Hopefully it's an eye-opener and they realize that they need to get their lives turned around.
Police also towed a car from in front of the residence believed to belong to these two suspects. And at this point, this young woman and her family, they have no idea what these men look like. Remember, this young woman was downstairs when these men ran out the house and then arrested. We're told, however, they are from Detroit. Reporting live tonight, Victor Williams, Local 4.
She wasn't hurt, Victor. Yeah. All right, thank you. Well, some areas getting snow tonight, but the real threat is this weekend.
Of course. Ben is tracking our first heavy snowfall really since November, Ben.
I'm telling you guys, this snow may beat the entire winter's total combined if it happens, but notice the big difference between our two heavy hitters. The American model, cold, snow through the entire state at 1 o'clock on Saturday. The Euro, not so much. Got rain in here, and if you watch this show, you know two things. We love to show you what's going on in Florida, and we always ride with the Euro. But we have got questions about that. There are some significant differences there. There will be some snow out there tomorrow. Couple of flakes around as we get through the day, but watch this band that sets up here in the north zone late morning, early afternoon. Multiple models have this. We're going to be watching it. So maybe some moderate snowfall within that band. Wind chills dive. We'll look at that in your 4-zone forecast. Of course, we'll talk about the weekend. The real winter chill, though, is around the corner next week. All that coming up. Kim?
Ben, there is substantial damage along the Lake Huron shoreline in Lexington, with homes and roads threatened and more damage likely to come. Tonight, more than 100 homeowners came out to hear what's being done to keep their homes safe. Mara McDonald is in Lexington, and Mara, the state is promising to speed up the permitting process for repairs.
That's because the water levels are high and they are predicted to stay high for the rest of the year. And in some cases out here in Sanilac County, the erosion isn't coming in by inches, it's taking feet away at a time.
We're trimming the trees off, and we're going to lay the branches across the breach of the neighbor's seawall.
Of all the houses in immediate jeopardy, Gary Smith's is the worst.
And then we're going to stack some concrete on top of it to, in case any weather comes up in the next week or so.
The erosion happening in a matter of days. He's in an emergency situation, and more than 100 homeowners with lakefront property came out to hear from Eagle.
The depth from where the water was 3-4 years ago, I've lost 200 feet of depth.
The reality is all Eagle can do is speed up the permitting process for fixes. There is no money to help homeowners, and insurance does not cover erosion.
Right now, I'm not affected by it. I have no erosion problem. But if you go down a couple thousand foot or less than 1,000 foot, it's all washing away. And I kind of cringe when I look at that.
At Camp Cavell, buildings have washed into the lake over the last few days. The water is now just 5 feet from Jill Laidlaw's cottage on the property. It's getting a little too close for comfort.
I have had a couple of dreams about floating down the lake, actually paddling down the lake with my house, but we're moved our important furniture, our antiques and everything we have sort of stored in the house to storage.
The best advice from Eagle: if you have lakefront property and if you see substantial erosion but you're not in an emergency situation, now is the time to get in touch with a contractor. They're in short supply because there is such an erosion problem. We are in Lexington. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
All right, Mara. State Senator Pete Lucido is facing an investigation in the Senate tonight after comments he made to a female reporter in the Senate chamber in front of a group of students. Allison Donahue, a reporter for the Michigan Advance, says Lucido told her, here was the quote, "You should hang around. You could have fun with these boys, or they could have a lot of fun with you." Lucido later issued a brief apology on Twitter, calling it a misunderstanding. But then this afternoon, he told our Jason Colthorpe he didn't say it.
I said, we're going on the floor to have some fun. You're welcome to join us. This thing about what she interpreted sexually or otherwise, it's unfortunate. It really is, truly unfortunate.
So the quote, you're saying the quote is not accurate?
It's not accurate.
Now, we also talked with the reporter who says the comments were made in front of a group of students from Warren De La Salle High School, an all-boys school.
Hearing all the boys laugh, and it took me immediately out of, I'm a reporter, I'm in my career, I don't know these boys, I don't know this man, and I was immediately embarrassed and I felt small.
Warren De La Salle seems to side with her version of events. They released a statement reading, Senator Lucido's comments do not represent De La Salle nor the values and conduct we instill in our young men. We are very sorry the reporter was put in this position, and we have met with the boys who were on the tour to discuss the improper nature of this situation.
Police want to talk to a group of people seen damaging parking meters in Rochester. It happened in November in downtown Rochester. In the upper right corner of your screen there, you can see one person jump and kick a parking meter. Then that person and another member of the group team up to destroy a meter, pulling it apart, kicking part of it off, and then grabbing what's left and smashing it into the sidewalk. I know it's hard to see their faces there, but if you recognize anything or you know anything, call Rochester Police. Dearborn Police, meanwhile, are looking for a person of interest after a shooting at a home that had children sleeping inside. That person of interest is 25-year-old Jimmy Mitchell. Police say he's armed and dangerous. The shooting happened early Wednesday at a home on Boston near Telegraph. Shell casings were left in the street as a 24-year-old man was shot multiple times. The victim was taken to the hospital in critical condition.
Tomorrow, the Michigan State Police Director is going to be in Lansing to answer questions about issues with breathalyzer testing. Earlier this week, state police launched a criminal investigation over potential fraud committed by a vendor that services its breathalyzers. The MSP has suspended the contract with that vendor and right now is using blood draws, as we've reported, for evidence of drunk driving.
Still ahead, it's the health hazard that sickened people in 27 states, including here in Michigan.
Yeah, what the CDC is now saying about a tainted romaine lettuce outbreak.
I feel judged. She feels judged. Very just devastating for us.
A mother posts a picture of her daughter wearing a rainbow shirt. Now she's demanding answers after her daughter is expelled from school.
But first, new audio reveals what Elizabeth Warren told Bernie Sanders in a brief confrontation immediately following last night's debate. That's next.
Time to prepare for tax season. Help Me Hank reveals what you need to do now and the best way to make sure that you avoid getting scammed tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Tomorrow at 5, caught on camera.
Get on the ground right now!
Real cops, real chaos.
What part of being on the ground did you not comprehend?
But guess what? According to the feds, bystanders say this guy was pretending to be a cop.
What if you want?
I don't know if he's playing with a full deck or he's just a wannabe.
And this isn't the only time. Now he's facing charges.
We're asking the real police why people seem to be doing this.
Get the real story behind this clash tomorrow on Local 4 News at 5.